Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of the Pavilion Perspective. In this episode, we were about to talk about the seven remaining teams in the IPL for the auction. And if you didn't see the video for the other three teams that were Mumbai Indians, Gujarat Titans, and RCB, you can check out the video on our page as well. And in this video, we'll be talking about the Indian team for the South Africa tour. Yes, because as we were thinking about what we should speak for the IPL, the BCCI came up with these squads for the upcoming tour to South Africa, and it has quite something to watch out for. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli have been left out of the T20I squad. Does that mean it's the end of the road for them in the T20Is? Will we not see them in the T20I World Cup next year? Well, we'll talk about T20Is and Rohit Kohli towards the end of the video. Currently, we'll start with the Test squad. And the biggest observation in the Test squad is that Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane both have been left out. Understandably, Pujara was somebody who would not be looked for this tour, but Ajinkya Rahane was the vice captain on the West Indies tour, and now he's been left out. It's a bit strange, and I'll ask Pragun, what does he think? Was it justifiable to leave out Rahane?
Uh, so I think it was justifiable to leave out Rahane the player. I never thought that he should have been made the vice captain during the West Indies tour. It was pretty obvious that the end of rope is near for him, that he would be left out of the team rather than later. So I think making him the vice captain during the West Indies tour was a pretty poor call, and leaving him out of this side doesn't, it is not a big problem. I think the only issue I have with Rahane and Pujara out of the team is I just want BCCI gives them a farewell, some sort of a farewell match.
Farewell is something which is not popular in Indian cricket. Even Dhoni didn't get it. Of course, he didn't want it. He gave India a farewell which nobody asked for in the semi-final. Okay, let's get back to Test cricket. And KL Rahul has been appointed as the wicketkeeper. Interestingly, KL Rahul has not. I don't think he's ever kept wickets in first-class cricket, and he was always seen as a keeper in T20Is. Then he was asked to keep in ODIs, and to consider that he is not kept in red ball cricket. Is it a good decision to ask him to keep wickets in South Africa in red ball cricket? Will it be a sort of a load on him, do you think?
To be honest, if he had to keep wickets in red ball cricket, I would have liked him to keep wickets on tours like Australia, South Africa, or England, because I think his keeping to the pace bowlers is far much better than his keeping to the spin bowlers. So I think it shouldn't be a much of an issue while keeping to the fast bowlers. But the problem with keeping in Test cricket is that you have to be there for a longer period of time, and then obviously you also have to bat. And in conditions like South Africa, there are plenty of examples where our top order fails, and then the keeper has to get into bat pretty sooner. So that would be a big issue. But I think there are chances that even Ishan Kishan and KL Rahul could play together, and maybe Ishan Kishan could keep wickets there. So I think it will be interesting to see which team combination BC Indian team opts for.
I think KL Rahul will bat at number 6. Iyer will return at number 5. And it will be very interesting to see how Iyer bats in South Africa in Test cricket, because, of course, he has denied the allegations or the rumors that he is not comfortable against short ball. And in South Africa, where the ball bounces a lot more than other countries, it will be interesting to see how he tackles Rabada, and if Nortje is fit, of course, and Ngidi and all those players. In fact, Gerald Coetzee will be there. He was a sensation in ODI World Cup. And the other big thing is that KL Rahul is not only the keeper in Test cricket, but is also declared as the captain in ODIs, which, according to me, is not a good decision. I'm not a KL Rahul fan, especially I'm the biggest hater of KL Rahul, the captain. So before I get into that savage mode, I would ask Pragun what are his thoughts on him.
To be honest, before we move on to ODI setup, I would like to say that not only facing short balls would be difficult for Iyer, I think it would be difficult for every batter, because the one thing that South African pacers stands out from the rest of the world is their height. I think they have some of the tallest bowlers in their team. So bounces from their bowlers would be far much difficult than bounces from any other bowlers. Moving on to the ODI setup, I think KL Rahul as the captain is a call made because there are no options in that team. There are hardly any options. I think there is Shreyas Iyer, but the BCCI, the Indian team doesn't look at Shreyas Iyer as a future option. There have been in the last few years there have been so many captaincy changes, so many people have been rested, and people have been awarded captaincy. I don't think Shreyas Iyer has been in a position where he has been awarded the captaincy. but I think they look at KL Rahul as a captaincy option in the future. He was also given the captaincy during our last tour to South Africa when Virat Kohli missed one of the test matches. So I think they look at KL Rahul as a far much better option than Shreyas Iyer during the in terms of captaincy.
Like,
I would like to
yeah.
like to I would like to know what are your thoughts about the fresh faces we would be seeing in the ODI setup, as there are quite a few of them.
Yes, I was about to say that only. Like you said, that we don't have a lot of options in ODIs for captaincy, and the biggest reason is that we have a fresh top three. Ruturaj will be opening with Sai Sudarshan mostly, and it's interesting that Sai Sudarshan got a call up ahead of Jaiswal, who's playing in Test, who's playing in T20Is. Why not ODIs? I mean, I was really surprised, and uh, I think the more surprising call was that Gill was not included in ODIs. Maybe it was about giving him rest. See, I think the main reason behind them doing all these experiments in ODIs, because Rinku Singh has also got a call up in ODIs, and the biggest reason is that it's not an ODI World Cup year ahead. They want their main players to be fresh for T20Is, and they had to send somebody in the ODIs. They can't send a fresh 11, of course, so they added Iyer and this guy KL Rahul, and of course Rahul was appointed as the captain. But interestingly, there was speculations that India don't want two different captains in white ball cricket, and on this particular tour, we'll be having three different captains on the tour. We'll have Surya Kumar Yadav captaining in T20Is. Of course, Rohit will captain in Test and Rahul in ODIs, and now we'll have Surya Kumar Yadav in T20Is. But more importantly, as we have switched to T20Is, the biggest decision, the biggest call was that no Rohit and no Kohli in the squad. And this has a lot of meaning because there were speculations about 10 to 12 hours ago that BCCI is requesting Rohit Sharma to lead on in South Africa and later go on to lead India in the T20 World Cup as well. But we all know that we have very limited matches left. After this tour, we'll have three T20s against Afghanistan, and of course, we'll not play our main team. So I think it's sort of a decision that is very baffling. Personally, I don't want Rohit Sharma in T20Is, not even as a captain, not even as a player. But what are your thoughts on Rohit Sharma before we switch to Virat Kohli?
The thing is with Rohit Sharma or even with Virat Kohli, they are very senior players, and obviously that they have been the servants of the team for Indian cricket for a very long time. But if you are trusting your youngsters to play bilateral series for a year now, and then you suddenly make a call to bring back Rohit Sharma or even Virat Kohli, it would be harsh on the youngsters. They have been performing and they have been taking out time. Yes, I am saying taking out time because to be honest, it just feels like that people are taking their time out and figuring out when they want to play and when they don't want to play, when they want to take the rest. So I would say it would be pretty harsh on players like Jaiswal or even Gaikwad or Gill or even Ishan Kishan. I know Ishan Kishan is not a great T20I batter, but at least he has been with the team. He has been doing the hard yards during the practice. So I think it would be very harsh on these four guys, especially because these four guys will be fighting with for those spots with Rohit and Virat. So I think it would be harsh to like you said that I also don't want Rohit to be back with the T20 team, even as a player or as a captain.
And people, of course, if somebody is listening to this, they'll be sort of angry that why not Rohit Sharma? Rohit Sharma led India to the World Cup final in ODIs, and see, that's all the outcry that has been happening over the last 1 or 2 years, right? That we need to bifurcate ODIs and T20Is. They can't be looked at the same thing. Rohit Sharma has not been scoring runs in T20s for the last 10 years. Of course, people will come up and say Rohit Sharma has scored 400s, international 400s in last 10 years. But if you try to be honest, we all know that Rohit Sharma has been very poor in T20Is. Of course, especially in the T20 World Cups. He has played almost every T20 World Cup India has been a part of, and he's not performed well. Of course, there will be a couple of innings, maybe more, but he's not that good a T20 player. And to talk about Virat Kohli, see, Virat Kohli is an anchor, and it's important for us to understand that in a T20 team, there cannot be more than one anchors. And if you want to play Virat Kohli, there's no place for players like Ishan Kishan and Ruturaj Gaikwad. And even Shubman Gill is not that player who starts very aggressively every day. Of course, there will be days when he can start aggressively, but he's not a natural dasher. So if you want to play Virat Kohli, ideally he should open. But if he is not opening, then don't allow people like Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan, Ruturaj Gaikwad to be in the team. What are your thoughts on this?
To be honest, I would slightly disagree with you where you say that there is no place for one anchor in the team. I think there are no places for anchors in at least Indian teams because obviously we don't have players. We are not blessed with hard hitters like England has or even West Indies players have. We don't have players who can go on and strike at above 160. We hardly have any player for that. So I don't think we as an Indian team can afford to even have one anchor. We can only have a player who can at least play with a striker of at least 135 and more. So I don't think even Virat Kohli does that, or even Ruturaj Gaikwad. I think Gill does that, but like you said, he is not a natural dasher, and he will not start at a great striker from the first ball. So even with him, there is that added risk that if he gets out before dashing, then you have a player who has taken up a lot of balls and have scored less runs. So I think that there is no place for even Virat Kohli in this team.
Okay, that's a big call. People might end up boycotting you and boycotting our channel if they're listening this. But of course, Pragun has every right to say that Virat Kohli does not find a place in this T20I team because the longer we stay as an what do you call idol obsessed, player obsessed country, you'll never end up winning World Cups like Australia. Australia has set that benchmark. You might troll them, you might do anything, but Australia has set that benchmark, and we all know that what it's important to win the World Cup. You have to be critical of your best players as well. So with that, we'll wrap up this video. Ideally, we don't look at Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma playing the T20 World Cup. Of course, if any one of them has to play, it has to be Virat Kohli. And if both of them play, don't watch the World Cup. Support Australia instead, or maybe England or any other team. So with that harsh call, we'll end this video. Thank you for joining us.